Today, I want to talk a little bit about effective attitudes of mind. We are effectively brain users. Like our mind is, conscious mind is some kind of floating epiphenomenon on top of a whole bunch of biological information processing happening in the brain. And we have to accept the realities of brains as limited information processing systems in order to effectively navigate the difficulties of living a life, employing the resources of the brain to actually secure our health and well being. Um, and amongst people who engage in contemplative practices, a very common conclusion is something that gets bucketed as acceptance. And when people hear that, I think that they experience that as sort of a fatalism, as a sort of denial of our agency, our ability to shape our lives. And it's actually sort of the opposite of that. It's intended to, by taking stock of the limitations of our ability to act and the resources available to us, uh, enable us to best deploy those resources in order to secure our well being. So let's talk a little bit about acceptance. Acceptance is about embracing two different types of limitations. The first is temporal. So the past has already happened, it's set, and the present is determined by the past. So it's actually also set. We can't do anything about the past, we can't act in the past. Um, and we can't act in the future, we can only act in the present. So we have this fixed temporal position. We can act now to change the future, and that's it. Uh, and by practicing acceptance of that, we can spend no more resources than are necessary in engaging with the past or the present. So, very often people get stuck in either lamenting the past, that it happened the way that it did, or resisting the present, trying to live in denial of what is actually happening. Neither of those is a constructive or fruitful way to spend resources. And that takes us to our second limitation that we're embracing, which is that we only have so many resources. When you pay attention to things, it seems that the human organism has about the resources necessary to secure its health and well being and not too much more. So, anytime you're engaged in fruitless lamenting of the past or resisting of the present, you are taking away resources that you need to accept and take in the present, gather all that information, collate it, synthesize it into wisdom, and act to secure your well being moving forward. Um, and so, because we are such limited beings, we really, really, really can't afford to be engaged in unproductive cognition. And we have to cultivate the habits of mind that keep our attention right here, where we have the possibility of action, taking in and accepting the present exactly as it is so that we have all the information that we need in order to take the actions to secure our well being going forward. And that's acceptance. It's not about, oh, the universe is going to unfold as it's going to unfold, and therefore I'm going to sit back and just. Sorry, buddy. I'm just going to sit back and be a passive non-participant. It means that if I'm going to get fully stuck in, fully engaged with the universe, if I'm going to maximize my possibility of shaping a future that I want to live in, I need to accept the limits and the scope of my action and the limits of the resources available to me to make best use of my chance to shape a happy human existence.